Most of you are familiar with the murder of Dallas patrolman J.D. Tippit, who was shot and killed about 30 minutes after the assassination of John F. Kennedy, for which Lee Harvey Oswald was accused and arrested for. After shots were fired in Dealey Plaza, all DPD squads were ordered to the plaza except J.D. Tippit and R.C. Nelson, who were ordered to be at large in the Oak Cliff district, the only district out of 100 that any officers were ordered to go to on that day, and the only district where a policeman was murdered. R.C. Nelson ignored those orders and abandoned J.D. Tippit in Oak Cliff. We don't know why Nelson disobeyed orders. Nelson was never questioned, never asked to explain his actions. Nelson claimed he helped arrest Oswald at the Texas Theater, but that was a lie. Nelson claimed he helped arrest Jack Ruby after he shot Oswald. Another lie. Records show that Nelson wasn't at either location. A few short minutes later, J.D. Tippit's killed. Shot at 1:16 p.m., according to the Warren Commission and the Dallas Police. Another lie. The problem being that the certificate of death of J.D. Tippit shows the time of death at 1:15 p.m., one day before he was allegedly shot by Lee Harvey Oswald. The time recorded only after the doctors first tried to revive J.D. Tippit, only after he was unloaded from the ambulance and taken to the emergency room, after he was transported from the scene to the hospital, a 5-minute drive, after the ambulance showed up, after driving to the scene, after someone called for the ambulance, after the shooting of J.D. Tippit actually happened. All of these events take time, all of which had to happen before 1:15 p.m. And the Dallas police made no accounting of the time Oswald stood waiting at the bus stop, where Oswald was last seen by Earlene Roberts. Now work backwards from 1:15. Do the math. The official version of the Tippit murder timeline is a proven lie. The Dallas police fabricated the shooting time of 1:16 p.m. Oswald's lady, Earlene Roberts, said that Oswald got to the room at about 1 p.m. He stayed only a few minutes and left around 1:04 p.m. The Dallas police stated this gave Oswald 12 minutes to arrive at the murder scene in time to shoot Tippit. Only by ignoring all the time and steps it took from the shooting to getting to the hospital and lying about the legal time of death were the Dallas police able to declare Oswald the suspect. Unless Oswald was Superman, it was impossible for him to arrive in time to shoot J.D. Tippit at the murder scene. After arriving at the Tippit murder scene, Gerald Hill announced on the Dallas Police radio at 1:40 p.m. Shells at the scene indicate the suspect is armed with a .38 automatic rather than a pistol. A .38 automatic. Meaning not a revolver, which is what Oswald had when he was arrested. Automatic pistols are drastically different from revolvers, and so are the shell casings. So much different, you wouldn't mistake one for the other. At this point, records show only 2 shell casings have been found so far. Stand for a moment your Gerald Hill at the murder scene with the shell casing in hand. Like Gerald Hill, you're going to visually examine the casings, so let's do that. The easiest way to tell the caliber type is to read the bottom of the shell case. No matter the caliber, all automatic ammunition has the word auto stamped on the bottom of the case, as seen on the left. .38 Special has the word special or the letters SPL stamped on the bottom of the casing. It's impossible to confuse the two. Another difference is the .38 Special shell casing is nearly twice as long as the .38 auto casing. You can't confuse that. These 4 highly polished steel casings are those claimed by the Dallas police that Oswald used to kill J.D. Tippit. In 1963, .38 automatic rounds were made of brass, not polished steel. It's virtually impossible to confuse brass for steel casings. Another key difference for revolver casings is that the rim at the bottom of the casing is wider than the body of the casing itself. This serves dual purpose, one of which is to keep the bullets from falling out when the barrel is pointed downward, and the second reason is to ensure the bullet doesn't move when the firing pin strikes it. The rim of the .38 automatic casing is the same width as casing body. I point this out so you understand that the .38 auto round found at the scene could not be used in Oswald's revolver. It's not possible. Automatic casings also have a visible V-shaped groove above the rim instead of a square-shaped groove on revolver casings. Gerald Hill was a seasoned officer with years on the job. A sergeant no less, not a rookie. .38 specials were used mainly by police departments all across the United States in 1963. There is no way in hell Gerald Hill confused .38 special casings for .38 automatic casings. Bullets that could not have been used in Oswald's revolver. Gerald Hill knew what he had. From the time Hill announced on the radio the weapon was a .38 automatic at 1:40 p.m. to Oswald's arrest, no one announced a different caliber but .38 automatic. There was no reason to. They had the two .38 automatic shell casings in hand. And Dallas police were unaware Oswald had a revolver and not an automatic. This is where things start to get strange. How do I know the Dallas police had two .38 automatic shell casings? At 1:40 p.m., Gerald Hill said shells at the scene, not shell. At 2:26 p.m., Dallas police dispatchers ordered patrolmen to return to the theater to find two missing holes, aka casings. It tells me two things. The Dallas police have learned Tippit was shot 4 times. Second, since dispatchers sent people to the theater to find only 2 more holes, quote, "We need the 2 holes." The DPD already had 2 holes, 2 .38 auto casings. At 2:26 p.m., officers Poe and Jez announced they have recovered 2 more shell casings at the Tippit Marine. The caliber unstated, but most probably .38 automatic shell casing. Obvious problem for the Oswald did it narrative. Let me remind you, over 40 minutes, the caliber of the pistol used remained a .38 automatic. The caliber of the shell casings changed only after Oswald was arrested. Only after Gerald Hill, hint hint, took possession of the pistol. Only after Gerald Hill learned Oswald's revolver, a gun that could not possibly fire .38 automatic ammunition. Very convenient if you're planning evidence. Now have a look at the following document. Look closer. What does it say? Daily report. 11/24, meaning November 24th. Meaning this report was printed every single day by the Dallas police. Why then is the report for November 22nd, the day J.D. Tippit was shot, missing from the Dallas police public records? Why is the report missing from the Warren Commission records? The radio markout sheets are also missing from the DPD public records and WC records for November 22nd, each of which is a violation of due process under United States law. Dallas police claim they didn't have the ability to record interrogation of Lee Harvey Oswald. Really? Take a look at this floor plan of the Dallas Police Department building. Dallas police had a recording room, didn't use it. Dallas police had 5 court stenographers in their employ, didn't use them to record the interrogations. The sound equipment people with still cameras, motion picture type hand cameras, all kinds of people with tape recorders. That's a quote from Secret Service Agent Winston Lawson, pages 190 and 191 of the Warren Report. Let me repeat that last part. All kinds of people with tape recorders, referring to the reporters camping in the Dallas police station for days. There were no stenographic or tape recordings of these interviews, a quote from page 547 of the Warren Report. Dallas police didn't have the ability to record interrogations? Yeah, right. Reports were written from memory by witnesses on the interrogations only after Oswald died. Only after Oswald wasn't alive to refute them. Another violation of due process. The Dallas police made a log of their unlawful interrogations, each of them a separate civil rights violation. From the moment a suspect is arrested or detained and requests an attorney, interrogations must stop under U.S. law unless the suspect's attorney is present. People say to me, Miranda didn't exist in 1963, an excuse for unlawful interrogations. The Miranda law made it a legal requirement that law enforcement agencies must inform suspects of their rights. Miranda didn't create those rights, they already existed. No record exists of Oswald's interrogations, once again violating due process. But things get worse. Dallas police radio transcripts had several minutes removed during the Tippit murder, which is a crime in itself, and another violation of due process. The location of the Dallas police dictabelt tapes is not known, and no record I know of exists showing their current location. These tapes recorded the Dallas police radio transmissions during the assassination, and more importantly, the time around the murder of J.D. Tippit. This tape was reported to be spliced. If so, another crime committed by the Dallas police. The tapes aren't made with splices, they're one continuous piece, and they're made with exact lengths like a ruler is. If I cut out part of the ruler, it would be visibly noticeable and easily measured. The piece cut out can be pinpointed exactly to where it was cut out. With the tapes, this means the amount of time cut out can be measured the very second. It's identifying if the time around Tippit's death was removed. Dallas police took Oswald's brown shirt he had on when he was arrested, leaving him in his white t-shirt, to better match clothes worn by the shooter of J.D. Tippit, and then put Oswald through unlawful lineups. Oswald knew his rights and protested the Dallas police illegal tactics vigorously. Now take a look at Oswald's room, a photo taken just after the assassination. Taking a closer look, you can see clearly the curtain rods in Oswald's room are damaged, meaning they need to be replaced. The curtain rods seen in the photo from the Payne home were white rectangular, as were the damaged curtain rods in Oswald's room. I found a photo in NARA labeled Oswald's curtain rods, and not in the JFK assassination collection, but in some oddball collection. Oswald's curtain rods in the NARA photo are round and not rectangular. So where did this photo come from if not the Dallas police? Better yet, where did these curtain rods come from? The Texas School Book Depository, or more likely Bill Frazier's car? Why isn't the photo in official record? Why is the photo in some obscure collection at NARA? The Oswald round curtain rod photo suggests that he told the truth, that he took the curtain rods to work with him. Otherwise, why would the photo even exist? A co-worker saw Oswald walking to the TSBD from Bill Frazier's car, and Oswald was not carrying a package. Why would he? If he's riding home with Frazier, Oswald had no reason to take the curtain rods out of the car. Which brings us to the elongated paper bag, which was nothing more than a dog and pony show by the Dallas police, and by that I mean planted evidence, with no fibers from the blanket the rifle was allegedly wrapped in. No indentations from the rifle, no gun oil residue, and no trace of nitrates. A virtual impossibility had the rifle been wrapped in this paper. Am I suggesting this evidence was planted? No, I'm saying it flat out. This evidence was a total fabrication and planted by the Dallas police. I'm pretty sure that planting evidence is a crime. Gerald Hill was the only person in the needed locations to swap the shell casing. Patrolman Poe refused to identify the 38 special casings as those he had at the Tippit murder scene. Poe scratched his initials on the original casings, initials the 38 special shell casings didn't have. Original reports by the Dallas police noted only 2 shell casings found on the 6th floor from Oswald's alleged rifle. Only later was a third bent shell casing brought into play. Not surprising, a shell casing missing the proper initials scratched onto it. A few years later, Chief Curry, in his book and interviews, himself stated only 2 shots fired from the Texas School Book Depository. It is consistent with the physical and medical evidence. The fabrications and fraud by Lieutenant Day are of an entire film in itself, but the manipulations by Lieutenant Day even raised the ire of the FBI. So much so the FBI requested Lieutenant Day's claims be investigated. But for those who doubt, here's something you can believe in. Forensic tests to prove the firing pin marks on the 3 shell casings were the same, and that all 3 were fired from Oswald's alleged rifle were never done. Sure, the Warren Commission claimed the tests were done, but where are the test results? Not in the Warren report. Show the visual forensic proof the firing pin marks on all 3 shell casings match Oswald's rifle. Not just 1 shell, all 3 shell casings laid out side by side. Smoke and mirrors, not acceptable. Hearsay, not acceptable. Fraud, not acceptable. Prove it with forensic, fact-based, visible evidence. How many crimes does anyone need to commit to convict a truly guilty person? None. Yet the Dallas police committed crime after crime after crime to falsely accuse Lee Harvey Oswald. Why? What were they hiding? Who were they protecting? Not John F. Kennedy, not J.D. Tippit, and certainly not Lee Harvey Oswald. With fraud, perjury, fabricated and planted evidence, withholding evidence, and witness intimidation, libel and slander, the Dallas police placed Lee Harvey Oswald at a murder scene where he couldn't be, with a gun he didn't have, and a description didn't match. With shell casings that don't match the bullets, with a jacket Oswald probably never touched, and fingerprints from Tippit's car that weren't Oswald's. Then allowing Oswald to be murdered in the police basement, silencing Oswald forever. The Dallas police got their man.